Sabisal, thank you. Well, let's stay with that developing news about the death of Gavin Watson this morning, but also over the weekend, news around the passing of the construction entrepreneur, Dr. Thandi Ndlovu. News this morning, then, of the death of the football journalist and commentator, David Kekana. The national spokesperson of the African National Congress is Pule Mabe. Pule, good evening to you. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Evening and evening to your viewers.
Firstly, your reaction to the death of Gavin Watson, someone who had a long relationship with the ANC, someone who played an important role during the struggle in the Eastern Cape and I think going all the way back to the 1970s.
Thanks, Stephen. We have already issued a presser conveying our own condolences as the African National Congress because Gavin Watson, together with his brothers, were involved in activities of the United Democratic Front in the fight against the notorious and inhumane apartheid system. He has been part of the efforts to reconstruct and develop South Africa. He has worked well with the people of the West Rand out in Krugersdorp. He is a known philanthropist for the number of initiatives that he has undertaken to develop those communities. And for that, we in the African National Congress dip our revolutionary banners, convey our condolences to his family and friends. I mean, death is not something that we can accept easily. You know, the price of death cannot be measured by anything in this life.
He is someone who, unfortunately, people are going to use the word complicated to describe. We all remember the video. For many people, the first time they saw him was actually, you know, in the safe counting out money. Did that come as a shock to the ANC? I mean, after the relationships that he had had with so many people, what he had done during that time, during the struggle?
Stephen, very often when we look at individuals, we tend to forget the very patriotic and heroic roles that they will have played towards the construction of a country that we all want. And all of us as law-abiding citizens, where there were instances and we were expected to come forward and explain ourselves, we will have done that. So I wouldn't want, I mean, I come from a community with strong Africanist values. In times like this, during mourning, we normally allow the family to go through that period. You know, it is one of the greatest things that comes out of our own Africanist culture is to make sure that the dead who cannot speak for themselves are given the best of our respect and dignity.
And then Dr. Thandi Ndlovu passing away over the weekend in a car accident on her way to a funeral in Rustenburg on Saturday morning. She was someone who played a big role in the construction industry and someone who played a big role in society. She made a huge contribution.
Well, not only that, Stephen. Dr. Thandi Ndlovu was a freedom fighter. Actually, Comrade Batabile Dlamini, the president of the Women's League, reminded me today in the National Working Committee that Dr. Thandi Ndlovu was also the secretary of the ANC Women's Section. She was sent to go and represent the movement at the United Nations Convention in 1979, where she had to go and speak about the rights of women and children. So in exile, she was trained as an operative of Umkhonto Wesizwe, became a commissar at that time, was already part of the struggle for the emancipation of our people back in 1976 during the student uprising, when she was herself a student and a member of the SRC at the Fort Hare University. She went on to study and became a medical doctor later on in her life. And in 1996, she started a construction company that was known as Motel Construction, which had built to date over 15,000 units, amounting to over 1.2 billion rand in rent value. She has played a very serious role towards the transformation of a society. She was a fervent feminist, led the construction industry, which was previously known as a sector for men. So, and for that as well, we dip our revolutionary banner. Not only are we doing that, when she met an untimely passing on in that tragic accident, there was also a driver there, Comrade A.B. Mutsiri, who was also a foot soldier, a field marshal, has been part of our own SDU structures in the African National Congress, has been part of our own volunteers at Lituli House. To his family as well, we say their loss is our loss as the African National Congress. We have felt the pain that they felt because these are people who completed the ANC family.
And then David Kekana, someone who I never met but spoke to many, many times about football, about sport in general. He was someone who brought a huge passion and a huge knowledge of the game and a huge joy of the game for everyone.
Well, beyond the game, he was also a member of the African National Congress in good standing. At the time of his passing on, he was the deputy chair of the branch of the ANC in his ward. And has been, I mean, David would be remembered by many in our structures as one of those comrades who would arrive first for branch general meetings, which are critical gatherings to effectively decide what are positions of a branch of the ANC on any critical matter. But also, again, as a sports commentator, he played a greater role towards developing the game of football, you know, making sure that even those of us, I mean, I don't understand much about football, but every time he was on the screen, you know, we all cared to listen to his own analysis. So which means that he simplified the game of football. And for that, he will be dearly missed by many in this country. And to his family, to his friends, we say their loss is not their loss alone. We too in the movement have lost.
And then, Pule, if I can just squeeze in, there seems to be some news developing in KwaZulu-Natal. We understand that a deadline was set for Thandi Ndlovu to resign as the mayor of eThekwini. Do you know if she's done that yet?
Well, indeed, she has done that. I had spoken to Comrade Mdumiseni Ntuli, who's the provincial secretary of KwaZulu-Natal. I've been made aware that before we took up this interview, which in news terms, this would be a breaking story for the SABC, they had already tendered their resignation. Councils in those two municipalities, in both Umsunduzi and in eThekwini, are expected to convene on Thursday, at which point new mayors would be elected to assume their new responsibilities. We see this to be an act of discipline, something that we've always emphasized, so that we do not allow our structures or others who might want to make up issues to read more into this. The fact that Mam Thandi Ndlovu and our comrades in Umsunduzi have heeded the call by the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC means that they too appreciate and acknowledge that they are not bigger than the organization. We hope that many of our members could take leave from this, because when the ANC takes its own decisions, it does so to strengthen its structures, make sure that it drives forward the program of renewal, but also ensure that working together with everyone in our structures, we build institutions of state that are capable to deliver basic services to our people. And also those comrades that are still part of our structures, when they are redeployed, they will still be of good use to the movement. Because in the organization, all of us play different roles. I mean, I'm a national spokesperson here today. I could be asked tomorrow to go and be an LET coordinator out in Palabora. That maybe the ANC could say, no, Pule, you understand the region of Mopani better. We think that if we send you out to Palabora because it's a mining town, you could work well to help us organize for elections in that area. So members of cadres in the movement are expected to be organic and to be alive to any other responsibility that they might be given or expected to perform at any given time. And we are quite happy that our comrades have heeded the call, because it is important that we return institutions of state at a local government level in that province to stability, so that people could get the services they want, work with everyone, including with Mam Thandi Ndlovu, to make sure that we make the ANC an instrument that could be able to transform the lives of our people.
Pule Mabe, thank you very much indeed for coming in. Well, that breaking news here, you did hear that first around the fact that Thandi Ndlovu has resigned as the mayor of eThekwini. Also, the mayor of Umsunduzi has submitted his resignation tonight as well. That story breaking here.